Okay, so in this part 4 we're going to be working on enhancing the model's eyelashes and then finishing off by adding some highlights into her hair. So first of all, as we do with any retouching, we're first of all going to duplicate the background layer, and we do that by clicking on it and dragging and releasing over the add new layer icon. We are then going to change the blend mode of that new layer to multiply, and that obviously darkens down the whole picture. Now what we want to do next is add a layer mask. Now that's a white layer mask, and we need to actually hide the effect of the multiply blend mode, and we can do that by turning the mask into black. So we go to Image, Adjustments and Invert, because as before we say that white reveals and black conceals. So the black layer mask is now hiding the effect of the multiply blend mode. We then need to select a brush by pressing B on our keyboard, and then in the options that come up at the top of the screen we need to ensure that the brush itself is 100% hard, so we've got a completely hard brush, and we're probably going to go for a pixel size of around about 4 pixels. That will do nicely, just about there. And we're going to be painting in white, and we know that because our foreground colour is set to white. So now all the next thing we're going to do is just zoom into the eyes, and the eyelashes that we see, all we're going to do is just retrace over the eyelashes to bring back a little bit more darkness so they stand out just that little bit more. So that's all you want to do, is just keep going over the eyelashes that are already there in your model's face or on her eyes, just retracing those. Now when you do this as well, you can also create your own eyelashes by just painting somewhere else around the eye. And appreciate it does look a bit odd at the moment, but in a moment or two we're just going to show you how we can reduce the opacity of this effect so it actually looks a little bit more realistic. Okay, that looks about fine to me. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to zoom out, and then on that layer we're going to reduce the opacity. At the moment it's at 100, take it down to 0, we see no effect, so we're going to go somewhere in between, and I'm going to say that around about, I'm going to go for about 50% to see how that looks there. We'll turn that layer on and off, and we can see that that effect there has just added in some quite subtle eyelashes there, just enhanced what the model already had. Okay, I add some highlights to the hair now, so the next thing we do is flatten that layer, and then we're going to drag that background layer onto the new layer icon so that it's duplicated. And this time, rather than changing the blend mode to multiply, we're going to change it to screen, which is obviously going to brighten the image. We're then again going to add a layer mask. It's a white layer mask, and we need to now hide the effect of the screen blend mode, so we need to have a black layer mask, and we can do that by going to Image, Adjustments and then Invert. And the next thing we do is just position the picture where we need it, just around about there. And again with a brush, but this time the brush needs to be really soft. So we're going to come up to the options here that we have for the brushes, and we're going to go for the brush to be 0 hardness, and we're going to go for about, let's bring that brush up, yeah, probably about 200 odd pixels, something like that. Okay, and we'll just reduce that down. Let's have a look, we are now, yep, okay, so we make sure that we're painting in a white brush. Oops, there we go, done it again. We'll do that. Right, and the next thing we do is just literally just add some strokes over the hair. Where you see the hair's natural highlights, just go over them just a little few more times with the brush that you've got, painting in white in a soft brush, like so. Now again, that looks really obvious, but as always we've got the opacity slider where we can change the effects from being full on to absolutely no effect whatsoever, so we go for somewhere in between, and it just needs to be subtle, this one really, so I'm probably going to end up around about the 25% mark. So you can just see by turning that layer on and off, quite a subtle change there, but it does add just a little bit more of a dimension to the hair. Okay, so that's it. That is the end of stage 4. We've got one more stage to go, which is stage 5, where we'll be improving the makeup on the model's face and then finishing up by lengthening her neck. So I'll see you in part 5.